Hi. If you are a leader in a company or have the responsibility of taking any kind of community or organization into the future, this broadcast is for you. I created it because as a founder of Illumina International 21st Century Leadership Academy, I speak to a lot of leaders, including CEOs, who have the responsibility to take their company into the future. And many of them are tempted to go about this job in a traditional way. Hire consultants, have them analyze the company, have them figure out how the company can get into the future. That would be the traditional way of doing things. And often a CEO will say to me, I just wish that everybody else would be like me, because then everything would be so fine. They are probably CEOs because they are really, really good at what they're doing, very professionally excellent at their job. They are probably very focused, very determined. They have created a lot of successes in the past, so it's obvious to think if we all did this, we would be much better off. And I disagree. Because the thing is that we are now changing paradigms. I wrote 7, 8, 9 books about this, not all by myself, but some anthologies, but I have been researching this topic for the past 20 years. And what is extremely clear to me, and I have absolutely no doubt about that, is that the paradigms of the 21st century are radically different from the paradigms of the 20th century. So it would be a big problem if everybody in the company thought like the CEO, who is a master at the old paradigm. It is a very good thing that not all the people in the company think the same way, that there are pink sheeps, people who think in a different way, people who are opting out of the old ways of doing things, people who are refusing to continue to do things in the old way, people who cannot adapt to the old ways of doing things. That is a very good thing, because all those old ways are disappearing. They are becoming obsolete, and we don't need them anymore, because in the new century, or this 20-year-old, 22-year-old century at this point where I'm making this broadcast, is so different. This is a collaborative society we are entering. This is the era of the participatory leadership. This is the era of co-creation. This is the era of moving, of upgrading from ego to soul, to essence. It's just a different level of consciousness, a different perspective, a different way of viewing things. We need to upgrade from the regular consciousness to a higher consciousness in order to be able to get access to the solutions that can solve our problems. So it's such a different century. And if organizations are to survive and thrive, they need to adapt. Did you know that in the past 15 years, 50%, actually 52% of all Fortune 500 companies have gone extinct because they didn't adapt fast enough? So it's serious stuff. If you want to survive and not go extinct, you have to adapt. And how do you adapt? You have to learn the new rules of the game, because the name of the game has changed. So you can't play the new game with the old rules. You have to learn the new rules of the game. And you could say, can I just read a book about it? How fast can I do this? Can I just get it over and done in 5 minutes? The answer is no. Because you cannot learn the new rules of the game with your head. You need to learn the new rules of the game with your heart. They need to be embodied. You need to go through processes, sometimes some squeezes, in order to get the new rules of the game, in order to really, truly understand them. This is why any kind of crisis should be so welcome, because all crises are teaching us, they're sort of squeezing us to teach us to upgrade, how to upgrade. In order to get out of the crisis, we need to do something different. And we're very motivated when we are suffering in crisis. So this is such a blessed opportunity to get this upgrade. Now you could say, but how am I going to do that? And my answer to you is, you need to get some help. You can't do this on your own, because we all have blind spots. We can't see what we what is behind us. So we absolutely need help, and a lot of it, and intensively. We need training. We need to understand the new rules of the game. We need to practice. We need to fail and fall and rise up again, and we need help in order to get those new rules of the game. But you can get plenty of help in so many places. There's so much help to be gained. So you just have to reach out and check out some of the offers that are out here on all these social media platforms, in books, in God knows how many trainings, and just apply. Get into a training, get a mentor, get to apply those new rules of the game, get to train those muscles. Because, and here's my final message to you, as a leader of any organization or team, you can only take your team or your organization as far as you are at yourself. So if you're not very far let's say the 21st century paradigm is here, and if you're here, you cannot take your company further than here, or here, or here, or here. So you have to keep learning and evolving and raising your level of consciousness in order to take the company with you. So this is why your evolution is not only important for yourself and for your loved ones, your family and friends and so on, it's also crucial for your company, for your organization. And the CEOs and the leaders who don't get this, they're actually dangerous to their companies. Just want to mention that to the board members, because they risk being too slow at making their organizations adapt. But again, you don't need to suffer. You don't need to go through this, because there's so much help to be gained. And I'm one of the helpers you can contact. You can even get a free little talk with me so we can discuss your needs and where you're at in the organization. I actually do programs for CEOs. I do programs for people who are taking their companies into the new. You don't have to be a CEO, but you could just be like one of those leaders who has a responsibility to bring others into the new paradigm. And you can participate in my program and get to know a lot of the resources available to be able to make this shift. And if you don't resonate with what I'm saying, there's so many other resources who can help you. So feel free to go and explore. But what I really strongly just recommend is to ignore this piece of advice, because time is moving in a very fast fashion right now, or changes are. We're in the era of exponential changes. So we're just hitting that, that curve where it really goes very, very fast. So you better voluntarily lean into trying to adapt as fast as possible, because otherwise it can be a very fast decline in the organization, or a very, very big, very much more suffering than necessary. All right, so contact me if you want to hear more. Come to one of my talks, come and check out one of my programs, and make sure you also offer this to the other people in your company, because if you're more people who are adapting to the new, your adaptation will go so much faster, and it will be so much more joyful and peaceful, and lot more creative resources will be unleashed. And this is exactly what we need at this time in history, because we are so dependent on innovation and true innovation in order to create solutions to all the problems that we have created with the old paradigm. I look forward to hearing from you, and I'm wishing you a great exploration of the new rules of the game, and I hope you will join me in co-creating a bright future at home, at work, and in the world.